Welcome back to today's video. In this video, we're on the topic of Nikki Haley essentially ended her own campaign a couple days ago when she made some recent comments about the Civil War. And basically, she ruined her own chances. She spoiled her own chances at becoming Donald Trump, potentially becoming, not for certain, Donald Trump's running mate or vice president choice pick. And I'm not saying Donald Trump was going to pick her anyways, but he said it was definitely an option, as he stated recently. She also ruined her chances not only at the vice president or cabinet position, but she also ruined her chances at getting second place in the Republican primary. She was, rising up until now. She was about to surpass Ron DeSantis up until now. Of what she said with her latest comments about regarding the issue of the Civil War. And so before we begin this video, I want to get out my channel memberships out the way quickly. So we have, as you guys all know, we have channel memberships. So, there's 3 pricing points. You can choose a perk. There's 3 different perks. You can get stickers. There's Sleepy Joe stickers. There's Creepy Joe stickers. There's Biden Harris 2024 stickers. And we will be adding more as we get more members. So click the join button on my channel. It's also in the description. So check the link in the description, and the link will also be in the comment section. So you can scroll down to this video, and you can find the link to join. It's pretty affordable. And don't forget to join. We have channel memberships. I really encourage you guys to do so and join. And also, don't forget to subscribe, as we just hit 700. We are on the road to 800 subscribers, just to get that out of the way. Now, let's move on to the video. So as I just mentioned, she was rising in polls. Nikki Haley started at 3% when she first announced, and at this point in time, she has risen all the way up to 11%. She went from 3% from the beginning to 11% at this point in time. That's a very big jump of 8%. Nikki Haley has seen an 8% increase ever since the day she announced. She's risen up by 8 percentage points. And do I expect her to rise? Not anymore. I would expect Nikki Haley to do better, but not anymore after the recent statements she said to a voter that asked her what was the cause of the Civil War. And she had not mentioned slavery whatsoever. She did not mention it at all. And as we all know, anybody can answer this. People from who don't even live in the U.S. can answer this question, and it's a very easy question. She made an easy question turn into a very complicated question. This is an easy question. The Civil War, as we all know, was to determine if states had the rights to own slaves, and she did not mention that at all. And she even tried to make the voter answer his own question. Why would she make the voter answer his own question? She's basically selling the bag at this point. She just ruined her own campaign, and this is why I say she essentially ended her own campaign, even though it's not official. I expect her to drop out very soon, as Donald Trump is destroying every single Republican in the polls, and Donald Trump is expected to be the nominee, as we all know. Obviously, it's very obvious at this point. And I thought Nikki Haley had a chance to surpass Ron DeSantis, but because of what she said, I think it could be, it could be her downfall, essentially. So Ron DeSantis is going to stay at second place, and Nikki Haley is going to stay at third place. She could have taken second place, but because of her recent statements she had made about the Civil War, I don't think she will surpass Ron DeSantis. I ultimately think she spoiled her own chances, and Donald Trump picking her as his own running mate or vice president, the chances of that has dipped significantly, and those chances have lowered because of what she said about how she answered that question to the voter. And that voter obviously was not happy. He was unpleased of obviously almost every American who heard that was unpleased with her statement. So you would think, her rising in the polls, she would continue, but because I think that could ultimately, that one statement could easily end her own campaign. And whether, you would think that one statement would not hurt her at all, it might do that bigly, because with her answering that question about the Civil War with just that was just a terrible answer itself, it can really hurt, her numbers, and you will see her numbers decrease as we get closer to February. Her numbers will decrease, and I expect her to drop out of the race. So she's been seeing a rise, but up until now, I think that rise will come to a stop. Obviously, it has to at some point because Donald Trump will be the nominee, but it's going to come to a stop. I think because of what how that answer panned out. It was just a terrible answer, and she said, she did not include slavery at all, and slavery obviously was a big part of that. And she tried to cover it up the next day, I believe, and even she tried to cover it up. That's not going to work. Voters will not change their mind about voting for her or not voting for her. In fact, she will, make voters turn away from her. There were, some Nikki Haley voters that may end up turning away from her because of her statements and, choose a different candidate like maybe DeSantis. And this actually also spoiled her chances at becoming the Republican nominee in the year of 2028. Because as we all know, Donald Trump will be the nominee in 2024. But this could ultimately ruin her chances at becoming not only Donald Trump's vice president, but also the nominee in 2028. Because this may, has been, her running in 2024 could be the start of her running in 2028 again. But if she were to run in 2028 again, I think if Ron DeSantis would also step in the 2028 Republican primary, I also think Ron DeSantis would probably beat her. And if you were to split the Trump supporters between Vivek Ramaswamy and Ron DeSantis, if they were to split in half between the Trump supporters, if half of the Trump supporters would go to DeSantis and the other half would go to Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley would be at third place behind both Ramaswamy and DeSantis. So with that being said, if Donald Trump was taking out this race, I think Nikki Haley would be getting she would be doing even worse. In fact, I think Donald Trump being in this race actually helps Nikki Haley. If Donald Trump was never in this race, I think Ron DeSantis would do significantly better. I think the Trump supporters would flood over to Ramaswamy, and Nikki Haley would just be left at the bottom. So if it was never for Donald Trump in this race, Nikki Haley would get crushed by DeSantis. Even Vivek Ramaswamy would surpass her numbers. But because Trump remains in this race, that's the only reason why you see her rising in the polls. In fact, with what she said about the Civil War, I expect her to drop out very soon, and it essentially ended her campaign. And that's what this video is all about. It pretty much ended her campaign, and expect her numbers to decrease. I will be shocked if her numbers keep increasing, and I also will be shocked if she passes DeSantis. I do not think she will pass Ron DeSantis. And that's pretty much it. And if they were to go at it in 2028 between DeSantis and Haley, I think DeSantis would defeat Haley and be the Republican nominee. I think she ultimately ruined her chances at becoming the Republican nominee in 2028. And also she ruined her chances at becoming Donald Trump's vice president pick. And she also ruined her chances once again at three things. And the third one is she ruined her chances at being second place in the 2024 Republican primary behind Donald Trump. I think DeSantis will remain at second place until the very end, until it's over. So let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. And do you guys agree with me that with what she said about the Civil War and how she answered that voter's question, do you think that ultimately ended her own campaign? And she basically spoiled her own chances. She just shot herself in the foot, basically. And she's not going to do good anymore. I thought before she made those comments she would do good. But I lost hope. I think Haley is just going to be another failed candidate once again after what she just said. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Do you agree with what Nikki Haley said, or do you disagree with what she said? And obviously, the way she made the voter answer his own question, like which candidate would do that? And that just goes to show you that Nikki Haley is just an utter disaster, and she's not going to get anybody's vote, and she will never be the Republican nominee ever if she continues with this terrible behavior. She's turning away her own voters. She's just going to lose support at the end of the day. That's ultimately what's going to happen, in my opinion. So that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe, as we are approaching 800 subscribers. And don't forget to join. We have channel memberships if you want to.